Hello, class. My name is Joseph Bullerin, and thank you for listening to my presentation. I want to persuade the audience of the importance of desegregating the armed forces of the United States in the 1940s. The segregated armed forces' social impact and financial impact. What is segregation? Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines segregation: the separation or isolation of a race, class, or ethnic group by enforced or voluntary residence in a restricted area, by separate educational facilities, by barriers of social intercourse, or by other discriminatory means. Segregation was the policy used by the War Department when it dealt with black soldiers in the military. The Army War College study of 1925 conducted a study on how blacks, which they called subspecies of the human family, would participate in the defense of their nation with their limited capacity. Army War College study went on to report blacks believed themselves inferior to the white men. Blacks do not have the courage of a white man in battle. Blacks are unmoral and do not know the difference between right and wrong. The War Department used the Army War College study to justify their African American policies in the armed forces. It was also War Department's policy to segregate African Americans and white personnel into separate regional organizations. Black officers only commanded all black units in every branch of the service. Black soldiers were given menial jobs: stewards, cooks, laborers, and porters. Black soldiers had low morale and did not join the armed services in high numbers like whites because of the War Department's policy. The Tuskegee Airmen experiment, an all-black fighter pilot squadron was established to see if African Americans can fly. The Tuskegee experiment proved that black pilots were able to learn and fly the most advanced piece of equipment in the Air Force, the fighter plane. Tuskegee Airmen provided protection for bombers during missions in World War II. They successfully had no bomber losses during their missions. Tuskegee Airmen ground support were all black personnel, and they needed to learn to repair and maintain the planes. Tuskegee Airmen had to have high school diplomas or some college to be part of this Tuskegee experiment. The cost to build an all-black airbase inside an all-white airbase was astronomical and not smart during wartime. You need to build a white-only bathroom and then a black-only bathroom. You need to build separate housing, one for whites and one for blacks. You need to build separate cafeterias, one for whites and one for blacks. You need to build separate classrooms, one for blacks and one for whites. I feel that we are all human beings and we should be treated with dignity and respect. Black soldiers are capable, just as whites, of learning, following orders, and accomplishing their missions. The War College study is about racial prejudice, stupidity, and fear. To consider one race better than the other is nonsense. The reason I picked this topic is because I read the book Freedom Flyers, and it described all the obstacles the black airmen had to tackle to succeed. Tuskegee was a success because it showed a nation divided cannot properly defend a nation in the future. White officials and all branches of the government thought that they were not capable of doing the job, and some who just did not want to see the Tuskegee experiment succeed. That is why I am advocating for the desegregation of the United States military. Thank you so much for listening, and you have a great day. Goodbye.